What do you think of when you think of BMW? Successful, powerful, innovative car manufacturer who's been at the forefront of vehicle development, has created markets and is respected worldwide as a brand of quality and engineering excellence. What you probably don't think of and what you probably don't know is that at the end of the 1950s, BMW as a brand was in trouble, a lot of trouble. It was very nearly voted by its shareholders to be sold to Daimler-Benz. Luckily, the Quandt family came to the rescue, increased their share of BMW's ownership and ploughed money into the business so that BMW could bring about the car that saved it, the Neue Klasse. The Neue Klasse was designed under the wily eye of Wilhelm Hofmeister, one of BMW's most famous designers. Hofmeister's great genius wasn't really that he himself was a fantastic designer, but more that he had an eye for recognizing talent. He brought in young Italian designers from Italian design houses and helped shape the cars that saved BMW from near destruction. It is not a wild accusation or a revelation to say that BMW came close to the brink. With this car, so named the Neue Klasse or New Class, was designed to appeal to a new, more sensitive generation of BMW owners. BMW's problem was that they had a great big lopsided offering. At one end they had small economical cars which were run by motorcycle engines, and at the other they had outdated, old-fashioned luxury vehicles. The New Class combined design, style, economy and the sensitivities of the 50s and 60s modernist public to produce a vehicle that is now what we know BMW for. Well designed, well engineered, class. Even the door shut sounds good. The NK was a car of new ideas. Lots of new ideas came with this car. It was incidentally the first new car that BMW had designed since 1933. By that I mean all new car. It was the first car to have Alex von Falconer's famous M10 engine. This was the first appearance of the M10, designed for this car by the Baron himself. A single overhead cam engine. This one has a single carb. They did various models, including a twin carb and a fuel injected version, which I believe is called the TISA, is a homologation special, of which they only made 200, although they've been copied many times. Only 200 were made, and for those of you who enjoy watching Goodwood Revival, they are often to be seen running around the racetrack. What's it like to drive? Well, as you would expect from such a modern vehicle, it is actually pretty responsive. The little M10 engine works really well here, lively as they always are. The car's pretty light, and the steering feel surprisingly reassuring. Gear change is good in this particular model, and if you need to, you can hurry it along. Keeps up with modern traffic absolutely fine, and I personally wouldn't hesitate to run one of these as a classic car. Most N10 componentry, driveline, chassis, brakes, because it's all shared with the O2, it's readily available. We've managed to get nearly everything we've needed for this, either directly from BMW or from our various sources. And if you're in the market for a Neue Klasse or a 2000 or a O2 model, and we can always help you with servicing parts. Certainly no reason not to purchase one. On parts availability, they are really well catered for. Obviously, some of the more specific Neue Klasse parts can be harder to find, but they sold a lot of units worldwide, and there are plenty of specialists who dismantled them. It's pretty easy to live with. I drove it to wheel alignment. It's probably the first time I've driven it properly on the road the other day, and I was really quite impressed. The M10 delivers a good amount of power. I'm in 4th gear now, I'm putting my foot down. You can hear we're picking up speed quite well. I won't drive too fast because one thing, it does let in a fair bit of wind noise, but it is a super cool little car. In fact, I had to stop at the petrol station on my way to wheel alignment, and I got lots of really nice acknowledgements from the public. You know, people who are not necessarily into cars, shall we say. I mean, that is obviously my assumption, but waving, smiling, happy to see it on the road. It is a cool little car. A modern car is what they wanted, and a modern car is what they got. It's got McPherson front suspension, it's got semi-trailing rear arm suspension on the back, it's got twin servo assist brake calipers, it's disc and pads on the front, so we've got ATE twin pots, so she does stop pretty well, as you can see. Yeah, it is a very, very rewarding drive actually. As a 4-door saloon, it also makes quite a lot of sense as a classic car. Now, if you're running into Car and Classic or Facebook Marketplace to find one, there are very, very few left on the road, and I think in right-hand drive form they're actually pretty unusual. This one was purchased at the Silverstone auction in March of this year, 2025. It had already undergone a pretty serious restoration from how it was discovered. The car came with a set of photographs showing it to be in a pretty appalling state when the restoration was begun, and I have to say fair play to whoever it was that decided that they absolutely had to save this car. As I say, it sold at auction in September, in March of this year, purchased by a new owner, someone we've been talking to for many years as a potential client, but this is the first vehicle that they've actually brought to us, and I have to say it has been quite a lot of fun working on it. Lewis has had his hands full with a nice list of items to make it more drivable. The previous business who restored it had certainly done quite a lot of the work, particularly around bodywork, but there were some mechanical things that needed addressing, probably just because it required a bit more specialist knowledge. It's not quite the G-Plan showroom that some of the kind of later 70s and very early 80s models are, but I particularly love the door cards. They just kind of scream that kind of 50s Bauhaus. I love the pattern, the handles, the stitching, the kind of mixed fabric, not fabric, sorry, I guess it's a vinyl, but they are absolutely fantastic. We've got quarter lights. Nothing cooler than quarter lights, which work really well, letting in a bit of extra ventilation. I don't really know whatever happened to quarter lights and why we don't have them anymore, but I think they're cool. Mirrors, bit of a challenge, tiny, and you can only adjust it from outside. Dials, nice and clear, easy to see what's going on. You've got a good set of gauges, fuel gauge, temperature gauge, which I'm pleased to report is rock solid after we've done a bit of work on the cooling system. Nice speedo clock. The center strip, the kind of thin veneered wooden strip, will be familiar to any kind of E3, E9 owner, as will the controls, or any O2 owner for that matter. A lot of the tech in this car went on to be used in what is probably BMW's most recognizable car of the Neue Klasse era, which was the O2s. The M10 engine, gearboxes, and steering rear axle were all transplanted into the later 2-door shell. Now, of course, the O2 that ultimately replaced this car was a lot more successful, many more units sold worldwide, and firmly put BMW back on the map as a mass producer, selling cars to the mass market. So there you go, that's my thoughts and feelings, my impressions of driving the car that saved BMW. It's no exaggeration to say that it did. Built between 63 and 71, they're pretty hard things to find. It's a shame because I would absolutely recommend one as a classic. Fantastic fun to drive, the general public react to it really, really well, and mechanically at least, they're very, very easy to get parts for and keep on the road. I love the styling cues. They did them with round headlights as well as rectangular, but I actually really like the rectangular lights. Kind of reminds me of the cars from the Thunderbirds, from Jerry, I don't know, is he called Jerry Buckenheimer's Thunderbirds. I love it. The beginning of the shark nose that BMW is synonymous for the next probably 20 to 30 years of their car design, the nostrils, side profile. It's a car of its time for sure in terms of size. Whether you'd want to squeeze 4 adults into it now or not, I don't know, but it's got a reasonable size occupancy capacity. It's got a great boot, so it's a fabulous car for weekend touring. This one's not for sale. I'm not trying to sell it. I'm just, I have actually genuinely really enjoyed driving it. One of my favorite styling cues is actually the rear. I really love the rear profile of the vehicle, the lights, the badge. I love the lipped boot lid. I think it's a fantastic looking thing. Got that great big curvaceous window, and the interior just does it for me. Definitely a car of its time. Shame there aren't more of them around. This is a fabulous car. Classic Bahnstormers. We've been proud to be involved with it. We look forward to continue to help the owner on his journey. If you're thinking about buying an O2 or even a Neue Klasse, give us a call, and if we can help, we will help. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one in the Blue Car series.